Lost my best friend to 23. She left her body and hovered above me. I saw no shadow, I looked around, searched every building and home that I found. I saw no shadow, but felt a glow. The warmth inside me, it kept me afloat. It felt like heaven, that found my bones and gave me comfort when I feel alone. Now you're gone, I'm alone. I guess it's time to get better. Through the pain, I will go alone. If I fall, break my bones, I will scream even louder. 'Cause I'm not dying alone. I lost my best friend to 23. She left her body and hovered above me. My best friend to 23. I heard the heavens crying above me. They gained an angel, I lost a friend. I felt like dying again and again. I went through hell, stared at death, but I keep fighting with each living breath. I saw no way out from where I stood. Felt like the fire had burned me through. Now you're gone, I'm alone. I guess it's time to get better. Through the pain, I will go alone. If I fall, break my bones, I will scream even louder. 'Cause I'm not dying alone. I lost my best friend. Inside your self-righteous symphony, I would rather let this go than to bring it up again. But
What's going on, nerds? Welcome back to another episode of the Burly Fishing Podcast. It's Thursday, and we're live. This is what we do, and it's super fun, and we love seeing all of you. So tonight should be a blast. You know why? Because without any credentials, without enough experience, we're going to go ahead and predict what the fishing year is going to be like, what the industry is going to be like this year. You know what? We figured why not? We're always tossing around ideas. You guys toss around ideas. And I mean, it's fun to talk about fishing stuff, right? Especially when you can't really fish. All of a sudden, we got this polar vortex up here. It's 8 degrees outside. I'm freezing my freaking stuff off. And there's not enough ice to go ice fishing. I saw my dude, you see Blue Jay Outdoors, Paul? It's like, I was going to go ice fishing, and then I found out there's not enough ice. So we're kind of like still stuck in this purgatory here. So we figured, you know what? Let's think about what the industry might drop on us this year. And I think you guys probably agree. There's probably going to be some innovations this year. I don't think there were that many last year, but due to all the issues with everything going on, I guess there was excuses for it. But I know a lot of companies are gearing up for stuff because I've seen some behind the scenes moves, people acquiring other companies. There's been a lot of company acquirements, which means stuff is coming down the pipeline. There's probably some new gear, some new stuff, and hopefully like some solid innovation hitting the market this year. So let's talk about that tonight. That's what we're going to do. And if you guys like the content, be sure to subscribe. Smash the like, ring the notification bell. You can share this episode right now. Anytime we run a show and we get over 100 viewers at the same time, we consider doing an extra giveaway. But we will definitely do at least one giveaway tonight because this show is sponsored by MONSTERBASS. So we have a $25 gift card to monsterbass.com. And at the end of the show, we're going to pick one lucky random chatter and they can go use that on that website. Also, if you guys are listening on the audio version on any sort of podcast device, leave us a 5-star review. We appreciate you. That's all I got. That was like the cleanest spiel I've ever had, Paul. Go ahead and take it away. Try to top that, nerd.
I won't. I don't need to. It actually wasn't even close. I was actually thinking as you were going through, I'm like, this is hands down one of the best introductions I've ever been a part of. Ever been a party to.
Yes.
Very well done. It only took 97 episodes.
Just getting better every time.
1%.
Microscopic increments. It's fine.
Before we get into the show, and before we get into the Q of the D, which I'm really excited about, I wanted to call out a couple things that we have coming down ourselves. So one, I did order us some decals. I ordered 100 Ned Rig Nerd Decals, not stickers. We're talking die-cut decals, outdoor
the real
ready.
Deal.
Yeah, definitely. I will be putting them on my truck. They are 5 inches by
all 100 of them?
inches.
You're gonna put every single one on your
I
truck?
have a big truck.
Okay. Neat. Paul drives a cement mixer. I don't know if you guys know this.
I'm very excited though for those to come in. So, and I think we should be too. So it's going to be the same logo type deal, the same artwork as was on the Ned Rig Nerds t-shirt. So those are coming in hot. I'm excited to do those as part of giveaways, potentially sell some of them, and definitely just hook you guys up. So we're gonna do a little bit of a smattering of everything, and then we'll for sure end up on all. Yeah, and they'll definitely end up on all my stuff.
Yeah. Do you think we can bypass our rule? Like we were going to keep the Ned Rig Nerds to the super nerds.
Yeah, no, we will.
To the members
for the
of
decal.
the YouTube channel. But the decal, maybe that's the loophole, right?
Yeah.
Like we can share that.
Yeah, that's the only way. I'm letting that one. I want to let the cat out of the bag. Plus, I have 100 stickers. I really don't want them all on my truck.
I'll take one.
What I will say, you can have one, but I will, Josh, you can have 12. What I will say though,
dang it! What the heck, man?
He earned it. Don't even joke. You did. Yeah, you did one good intro. He did.
I
90 good episodes.
Have negative 96. So I probably owe you 96 more decals. Got it.
I love it. I also wanted to start. I wanted to kick off the brainstorming sesh for what we should do for our next t-shirt order. So we're gonna do it sometime in the next, we'll say, few months. There's no definite timeline, but I want to do our next t-shirt order, which means I got to start working on the artwork so that when we decide to launch it, to be ready to rock. So I would love to see in comments what your guys' ideas are. We want to know what should, even just the theme, right? So last time, Ned Rig Nerds, pretty obvious. I like the nerds theme. I could definitely get down with that again, but we have I think there are some opportunities. Maybe Crocs, which I don't know if we can. I mean, I think the word Crocs you could probably use. It's not the logo, but hoodie, Team Hood. I think that could
Team Hood
that could fly.
Or Team No Hood.
Well, Team Hood is up right now.
Split.
Yeah, I mean, you could have 2 shirts, hood, no hood. Like we got some. I still
kind of like this idea.
Down with big sunscreen, like something big sunscreen related still has me just
and
absolutely
it was a jacked up sunscreen
with a big no
circle and no. I like that. I think there's a lot of cool ways we could go with this. The hood, no hood would be a cool little like each person has like what side they're on and nobody would get it. Yep. And then down with big sunscreen is still, if it doesn't make it this round, it's eventually gonna happen. Like it just has to.
All right, those are the 2.
Yep. So if you guys have other ideas, let me know. Yeah, Team Nude Fishing would be Chaz. We'll make one shirt. No, we're gonna make one shirt for Chaz. Like just Chaz has this. It's not available to anyone else. It's a single run.
But it's not a shirt. It's just nothing.
It's just we send him a permanent marker and he just writes Team No Shirt on his chest.
That's what it's called. A tattoo is what it's called.
I mean, I was letting you out on that. If you want the tattoo, I mean, now it's like this is on the podcast. It has to happen now. Look, the Russian bots are back. We did it. Yeah. We're so famous now.
Cooler Lid says, "You need to do something kayak related." I think Team Small Boat could work. I want it to be like show related though. I kind of like
plastic boat.
We could also do like our fake Snorlax. We could do something there too.
Yeah. Okay. We're gonna think on it.
We gotta think on it. So keep the ideas.
We'll just start to toss this around, man. It ain't happening today, but if you guys think of stuff or team unreleased soundbite, like every time Paul says something that is definitely an innuendo, he doesn't know. And Chaz and I sit here like, okay.
I absolutely love it. Another question I want to throw out there is, any guests that you'd love to have a see? You know what? I just thought of one because Debo is on. I would love to get Do It Molds on.
Ooh, good idea. Hey, Debo, can you help us out with that? Wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
No, I think that'd be really fun to get someone from there on. But yeah, literally anybody would love to have. Would love to just know who we. Oh, there it is.
Do it.
Oh, I used the hyphen when I wrote it down.
Asking you, bro. You got the connections.
So I did that one right.
Tell us who to talk to.
Improve.
I would like to. Oh yeah, the improved clinch knot for sure. Team improved clinch knot is never a bad idea, and it would be an improved clinch knot, but it would be holding on to just written on like 1 million pounds.
No, I would do. Like, you know how they have like the drawings of knots where they're like loose, like so you can tell what the knot is. Mm-hmm. But then you do like a greater than sign and then like all other knots.
I want to see it just like holding up the world. Like just
that's a good idea. Like 2,000 pounds or something. I should whatever the break strength is, because it's one of the strongest knots. So it could just be like at the top of the list. Yes. I think that's a good idea actually.
I dig that.
I like that a lot.
So Debo says he knows a guy. Hit us up, bro. Just DM me. But
how about just a spider? A top water spider.
No.
I don't want to claim that one, but it keeps popping up.
But it has to be filled with CBD, so we can get it across the border. So yeah, on the note of Do It molds, though, like I would love to make some. Like we're already saving up a bunch of old plastics because you want to melt them down and do something with it. Yep. I feel like we just got to get some molds in, and we just got to do it. Just try it.
Well, it's actually a really
it's the name of the company. It's a genius name of a company.
I think so too. It's actually it is. We got everyone I know to do it. We knew that was coming.
Bummer. Gosh darn it. Well, shoot.
Well, it's a good transition. So that actually is a great segue into what the show is going to be about. So before we get into that, I want to hit the Q of the D. I love this one. It's one of my favorite Q of the Ds we've hit so far. So what is I had my initial was what's the best 90s toy? And then the first toy that popped into my head was Battleship for whatever reason.
Really?
And then I zoomed in on my idea and I said, instead of toy, because I was going to do like action figures and like all the other billions of things that came out. I was like, no. Tabletop games. Like, because there were board
so you
games.
Changed it after I wrote things down. Cool.
I wrote a million things out. So yeah, there were tons of toys, right?
Furbies.
But I did switch it. So I switched it
Yep.
out to just be
Okay, fine.
all like tabletop like or card type games, right? Like
Yep.
board games.
I already see the one I was going to call out, Crossfire. That's right.
So Crossfire was
Crossfire.
Yeah, well, see, you went where I went. So I would love to say Crossfire, but it was the suckiest game. The game actually wasn't fun. It is the best commercial of all time.
You shot metal balls at each other, like across the
ball
court.
bearings, and you.
Like, but they were heavy duty, and you were just like.
It was the best.
If you didn't turn that into a weapon, like, and just start chucking those at your brothers,
what were you doing?
Like your sisters, whatever, your cousins, like, you were doing it wrong. Just saying.
It was the best commercial ever written. Like, it had an amazing catch line.
Insane.
It started like in a living room, but then it like evolved very quickly into like space themed battle. And they were like, the kids were like on the giant they were standing on giant spinny shapes of the Crossfire things.
Yeah.
And then the song came, it's like, you get caught up in the crossfire. And the one kid gets like deleted into space.
What happened to this kid? He's gone.
He got
Thanos snapped out of here, bro.
Alan is dead.
Alan.
We
It's a 90s name. It's pretty.
There are actually some other really good games. It kind of depended on how old you were, but like Battleship was legit. Don't Wake Daddy. Do you remember that? And it also had a
little plastic bed guy, and he would just pop up.
But it was kind of freaky because when Dad woke up, he was extremely pissed. So he was like, Brah! You had The Game of Life, which I think everyone knew and played. You have Mousetrap.
Operation
is another good one, another very good one actually. You had the game Mousetrap.
Mousetrap was one of my favorite games. I used to play it all the time. Because it was Rube Goldberg design, right? So it'd be like all the ridiculous contraptions in order to catch a mouse, and you played the mice, right? Like you weren't supposed to get caught.
You weren't supposed to get caught. So what you did was you made the traps to try and catch the other players, and then the other players were trying to get through.
There was 100%. One of the devices was a dude on a board that got seesawed into a bucket that would then like knock the next piece over.
Twister's a really good answer. I don't know is that 90s? Risk is a great game.
Might be a little
air hockey. It's a little bit outside of all of this, but like air hockey
though,
yeah. Are they?
Yeah.
Okay, well that's fine. Is super old?
Hungry Hippos though? Tell me that's not 90s.
That's 90s as hell. You just jam the hell out of that thing.
And then like the kids ones.
Said Pogs. I don't know if that counts. Well, that's my answer.
Technically, yeah, I think so.
I think
it would be that. Then it would be Pokemon cards because that's actually a game. You got to be kidding me.
I think. Well, hold on. I want to clarify. There was an original game, but there were later versions released of Hungry.
The better version dropped in the 90s.
Oh yeah. And how could it have dropped?
Prove it.
Oh, Debo says Othello. That is a really good game. No, it is a really good game. I like
brainiacs over here.
Yeah, I know. Too smart.
Bunch of serious nerds.
Cooler Lid, you were cool until you said that Pokemon isn't cool and you spelled it wrong. So I automatically know your opinion is invalid.
Oh no! Wow.
Pokemon was awesome.
I mean, you do know like our whole membership is based on Snorlax.
It's based on a Pokemon.
Right? Our boats are literally called Snorlax.
You couldn't even get away from it. Like if you thought it was stupid, you were in a camp that like you automatically were like challenging kids who thought it was cool, and you were like stealing other kids' cards. Like that was like you were like, oh, I'm too cool, but also I'm stealing your cards. And you're like, well, you're playing.
Classic. Total 90s.
Way to ruin everything. Catan came out in the 90s. I'm pretty sure. So I wrote that down.
Yeah. Rock'em Sock'em Robots. How about Sock'em Boppers? Does that count as a tabletop game where you just beat the tar out of your family?
Yeah, they were great.
When your dad would just be like, "All right, Thunderdome."
Thunderdome is what it's called.
Thunderdome. Yeah.
Bop It. I don't know if is Bop It, and does that count? That's right on the line. It's right on the line.
Yeah.
That's right on. No, I mean it's like on the line of like a tabletop game. Like that's definitely. That's what I'm saying.
All right. So what was the best one?
Also, what about Magic the Gathering? Is that 90s?
Probably.
Gotta be. Not that it
Probably
would
in there.
win.
Early 2000s.
Yeah, not that it would win, but
Yeah.
these are all really good.
I see lawn darts.
There were a bunch of other like I remember a game where it was like how good you could lie.
Mhm.
And it was like you got a topic and you had to make up your own explanation to the topic that like was either true or false, and you got to choose whether you lied or you told the truth. And you would like make these embellishments, and everyone that was
Yeah.
like playing had to guess whether you were telling the truth or whether you chose to lie. Um,
It sounds familiar.
it was a no, it was a really fun game. Also, I think Clue is pre-90s, somebody said. And Monopoly
Yeah.
is invented like 1935. Definitely not.
When did
not 90s.
you guys ever play the game Mad Gab?
Yes.
Where you had like the stream of letters and you had to keep saying it and then they had to guess what you were saying?
Yes.
Yes.
What
That
was
was
the
a blast.
one? What was that circular disc game where you would get like categories and everyone had to say things in the categories until you ran out of time? Do you remember? It was like a circle, like a blue circle, and it had like a screen in it.
Mhm.
It had like lists of categories. That game was like
Mm.
shockingly fun.
Yeah,
Phase 10
I
is
don't know.
actually Phase 10 is a good game. Uno.
I'd
Uno's
say I'm with Tom Alfred. I'd rather play Super Smash Bros.
Well,
Like,
I mean, obviously, but I mean, come on.
N64
Boulder
could
Dash,
sit on a
it's not
table.
Boulder Dash, but that is a good game. Boulder Dash is super fun.
Yep.
Catchphrase. Corey Mariano coming in hot. Catchphrase is awesome. All right, my vote is gonna be for really hard.
Mousetrap.
Go
That's
get out of
mine.
here. Yeah, Mousetrap's a really good answer. I'm
Yep.
gonna go with Battleship. That absolutely
Good call.
was a good reason to murder a family member. I like that game a lot.
You just flip it and then you find those little red missiles everywhere.
Yeah, never the white ones, just the red ones.
Never
A lot
the
of good
white
answers.
ones.
I'm loving this. This is really
Yeah.
good. All right. So what we have, I wanted to, and we're just BSing. I don't actually know or think very vehemently that any of this stuff is going to happen. But it was actually while I was writing the show, it was kind of fun to talk about and at least come up with topics. So
Yeah.
as we're coming up with some of these topics, we're just going to BS, talk a little bit about what we think may or may not happen in 2022. It is January. It's the first show of the year, right? Of this year.
I think so.
Us.
Yeah.
So episode 1 for
Happy New Year.
episode 1, season 3.
Is this season 3?
This is season 3. So January 1st, like whatever week that is, that first week of January is my new season. So this is season 3.
I think our finale lived up to the hype. What do you think?
Oh, absolutely. 25
it was a good
out of
season
10.
finale.
That was amazing. So
Yeah.
I will
Killed off the main character.
Yeah. So since it is
Paul's dead.
bye. So since it is episode 1, season 3. So we want to talk about what we think we're gonna see. But if you guys have any ideas of your own, I'm gonna be watching these, trying to watch the comments to see what you guys think is gonna happen with somebody. So call us out if you think they're BS. Let us know. If you think that we're dead on, give us $1 million and we'll make it happen.
Secret bonus points that are worth nothing to the best suggestion and the worst suggestion.
Yeah.
Yeah. The points are made up and
that was such a great show. My dad looks exactly
the
like...
rules are made up and the points don't matter. That's what it is.
Remember Ryan Stiles?
Yes. Colin Mockery? Come on.
Ryan Stiles is my dad.
Yeah.
They look, and even
Wayne Brady.
Oh my God, Wayne was
when they were all three together. It was like Colin, Ryan, and Wayne.
Yes,
it was like those are the best shows.
So Wayne was by far the only reason that show like made it like was actually fun. Like the other guys like kind of chimed in, but he was like a legend. All right, anyways, we're gonna have to do like best '90s TV shows now. So predicting trends. So I have like a list here of some of these trends that I think are going to happen. So I would like to know if you guys think that there are some. My first one, this was probably the easiest one for me. I really think that like making your own baits is going to be a huge, like it's going to make a big power move this year. It like sort of started like last year. You definitely saw a lot of it. I think it was the mold things, but like a lot of people making custom baits like at their own house, like people making their own plastics out of leftovers. I think you definitely saw some of that. I think what you're going to see is more of like a concerted effort by companies to enable people to do exactly that, whether it's make your own jigs, paint your own baits, paint your own, like repaint your own plastics, like whatever it is. Like I just think that you're going to see some power moves into
Mm-hmm.
making your own baits. It's worked for a lot of, like, it works for fly fishing. It works for like every industry, right? Like putting the power in your own hands. And some
Mm-hmm.
companies have like been developing the technology. And now it's comes down to like marketing, right? Like who's going to win marketing it, who's going to make it accessible, and then
Mm-hmm.
they're just going to like fell into the fact that you need to buy your own equipment, you need to buy your own paint, you need to buy, like, there's so much money to be made that I think it'll happen.
Yeah, if they take a page out of the fly tying book, that would be huge. And fly tying might even change up. Who knows? An
Oh,
aged art. But they're, yeah, like I think companies need to make some innovations when it comes to bait making to make it more attractive. Because right now, even now, like it's just not that attractive.
yeah,
Like to
I would agree.
a normal
There's
dude, like it's just like or lady.
Yep.
Like I don't want to deal with that.
But I think that like plastics is your entry because it's not
Mm-hmm.
difficult. It's
Mm-hmm.
easy to do if you have a microwave, and you don't need like a spray gun and all this other stuff.
Right.
Like, so I do think that that is actually a really good entree, and that's where I think where it'll happen. Like I think that's where it'll start. Um, Go ahead, Charles.
So going back to even just the game thing from the 90s, the creepy crawler maker thing,
Good segue.
the exact same.
Oh, it really is.
You
Okay,
were like,
so
why are you going back to my question
do.
of the day?
Yeah. So that actually
Creepy
was
crawlies
a
is
really
great.
good. That was really great, and I ate a lot of those, and that's probably why my brain is broken.
I think you're thinking of Dr. Dreadful because creepy
Those were
crawlies
great too.
were not edible. So I
Oh.
hope you didn't eat creepy crawlies. They were
No,
made
so
of like
Dr.
glue.
Dreadful, Dr.
Dr. Dreadful was the taste
remember.
lab. Yeah.
Well, there was one that was like bug related, and it came with
Dr.
like a little.
Dreadful.
I thought that was like
Yeah,
skeletons
bugs,
and ghosts and
brains.
zombies.
There was
Yeah.
like ooze.
Oh,
Yeah.
I remember one that was like only bugs, but maybe I had like the only.
You
Well,
don't eat those.
now you definitely know I'm broken because I ate the heck out of those.
Kid's been eating too many creepy crawlies. You know what I mean? Did you eat paint
But
chips as a kid? Yes, in fact, I did.
even worse.
They were shaped like spiders.
Yeah.
Microwaved by a light bulb.
Yeah. But no, I feel like realistically, it's not that hard to do your own plastics, and the molds are not that expensive, and
Mhm.
you've already got companies that are kind of at it. So one company with some success, and all of a sudden, I also think like there is something to people wanting to reuse their plastics, right? I mean, we
Yeah.
all get them, and no one wants to. I think their own way is bad. Everybody recognizes. Well, a lot of people recognize that, and
Yeah.
we all participate. So I think that one to me is. I hope that it becomes as big as I think it is, but I think making your own baits. I think that's gonna be. I think that will be a trend. I'm putting.
So what I would love to see is, and I don't know if it makes sense for that part of the market, but just like I said, something that's more attractive to the consumer. So it has to go like, Guggen sells a crap ton of baits because their packaging looks dope, and they hooked up a bunch of deals with like Dick's Sporting Goods, right?
Mhm.
But like Do It Molds has just big block lead things that are like two parts, and you slam them together and you make a big mess, and you're like,
Yeah.
I don't know if I want to get into this. But if like you just even made the molds look a little cooler,
Oh yeah,
just
totally.
saying, like you want to
Nope, I agree.
capture some fishermen there, right?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
it's got to be. Well, and I think that is it's primed for. I just think there's a lot of people. There's a lot of people out. Like, okay, let me put it to you this way: when you were a kid and you saw some of these toys that we're
Mhm.
talking about, right? When it
Yeah.
came in a kit, and it was like make your own color, you were and it had everything you needed, and it was $30. You were like sold.
Yeah. I mean,
Not
I
you,
I
and
think
you saw someone using it. I mean, you have YouTube.
right.
You have.
Well, now you do.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. Now you have YouTube, so
Yeah.
you can show someone using like a kit. There's definitely on the plastics. There's absolutely a market for that, and it's very much where it's like you buy the mold, right? So you buy your favorite mold, whether it's a
Mhm.
flipping bait or whatever. You buy your injection stuff, right? You have almost everything else that you need. Maybe you get safety gloves, but then
Yeah.
you get to pick your colors. You're like, pick your colors. You can just make your own. So you get to pick 3
In the
colors.
kit.
in the kit. The kit
See,
is
the kit,
mold, one
exactly.
injection, pair of gloves, pair of glasses, whatever, protect your face.
Pair of glasses. People yelled
then,
at you for not wearing glasses while drilling in our video, by the way.
I had it coming. And
Safety
then
glasses, look them up.
and then I actually said do that, but then yeah, like and then pick your own colors, right? You get to pick 5 colors. And then that way you can mix and match and make your own and do whatever you want to do, or you can pick your own sparkles, or I don't know.
So I think that solves the problem that Debos is getting at here in the chat, which is that it's a decent amount of overhead, and people think like, what if I don't like it? It's picking up a whole new hobby. I mean, you get into like this dumb YouTube thing, then you end up getting like a camera, then some memory cards, then like some camera equipment, then a better camera, then more memory cards and tripods, then lights, then a computer, then a webcam, and then microphones, and then all sorts of stuff, right? Well, the same thing happens when you start making baits. It's like, yeah, but what if you do like it? So that's where the kit would come in handy, where it's like, hey, this is everything you need. Just try it. Just try it. Like, see if you like it.
The other thing too is it doesn't even
low cost entry.
It doesn't even need to be something where you expect a lot of people to buy it for themselves. Like you see a lot of people buying like subscription boxes as gifts for other people. They're like, I don't know what to buy a fisherman. And then someone's like, oh, I can just get them a subscription box, and they get things that are marketed like they're cool for fishermen. Like, duh. And then you buy that for like your niece or your nephew or your kid or your cousin or your friend or whatever. And then you're like, oh, maybe I'm someone's grandmother. I don't know what to buy. And then an ad pops up for make your own baits, $59.99, and you get the 3 things that you need. Okay, cool. Like whatever. I don't know shit about this. I'll go buy one, and then boom, done.
That'd be really cool. I'd be down to try out some kits for that for sure.
Well, and that's the thing. It's like I think it's fodder, right? It feeds on itself. Like if it feels cool, people are gonna start doing it, making videos about it. All of a sudden, like it snowballs. I just think that it's already out there. There's a lot of stuff already out there. So I don't know.
Well,
I think it's pretty cool.
Carol Ferg says she's just gonna keep winning baits from us, and then she doesn't have to worry about making any. I mean,
good idea.
Shouldn't
it's a facto.
Genius.
Depot mentioned this already, supply chain issues with trying to make your own colors and molds and all that. But I call the supply chain issues are going to continue to inhibit companies that require all their products come from overseas. And it's going to stall innovation. So like the Hakai, I think, is like a great example. Like we've known about it for a while. You've seen it with a lot of people who are on the pro staff or are affiliated in whatever way with Okuma. It's a really cool product. A lot of the parts come overseas, gets manufactured overseas, and you're not going to see it until next year. But it's been a known quantity and been marketed for 8 months, 9 months, or whatever.
Guess what?
And I don't.
Guess what?
What?
Dave's sending us one. He just emailed me today.
One.
Yeah, there's only one. You're not getting it, dork.
See? I just think that like they're out there, they exist, but like you can't get them. Like Okuma can't capitalize on the fact that they had a cool idea. It is a cool idea. It's a really cool reel that I think people would like to get their hands on, but you can't, right? So you have this great thing that you did. You did all this work. You made this marketing materials. Product's not here for you to sell, and it's still not here for you to sell. And they're just talking about it now, how it's going to start hitting shores soon. And it's like, okay, like you're lose, right? They're selling a ton of product that like. They may have stuff that's like that's out that they've designed that's ready to launch, but they can't get it here. So they're like, well, punt 2022. Yeah, I think that's going to continue to happen. So like you may hear about the next Die with Zillion, and it may not, you may not see it until 2023, which is not something that I think even now people are used to. People are like, I saw the ad for it, I saw the YouTube video for it, I saw the unboxing. I want to go buy it. I'm ready to drop $300, but then you go and do something else because it's just not available.
So could they ramp up pre-orders?
But pre-orders
don't a lot of pre-orders in the fishing industry? Not really.
No, because I mean, there's no reason you can't. But like pre-ordering is like an odd thing because we've gone so far to the opposite where you expect to get something in 2 days. Yeah. Amazon says, oh, no. You paid for whatever, a $7 notepad. You can have that Wednesday. It's Monday night. So fishing gear, I'm going to pre-order a $350 reel for $60 and then pay the rest later. And maybe I'll see it in a year. I mean, I'm not saying no one will do it, but I don't think that I don't think that there's any product out there right now where that would be like your where that would be your mainstay.
Video games. Like that's literally the whole video game market.
Yeah, but that's the price point on that's like way lower for like rods and reels.
Video game consoles.
Oh, for consoles are different though.
$500.
There's only like 4 of them out there or 3 of them out there.
Sure.
And the new it's a little different. Like with your rods and reels,
with
like
supply chain issues, like there's been reels we can't get our hands on. That's exactly your point. So it's like if they can get 50,000 to the States, it's like your chances of getting that are pretty low.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So just saying, I don't know. I never see it, but yeah.
I don't know.
Pre-orders are trouble, says Autism English. By the way, I'm glad you said you got your boxes. So hopefully you enjoy all the tackle, and well, hopefully somebody gets to enjoy all the tackle. It'll be awesome. They can be trouble. It just depends. It's like it just seeing different industries. So from like, video games, fishing, but also like I've been in the fitness industry, like different things like that. I mean, we do pre-sales in a lot of industries. Just I never see it here. I was just curious. I mean, a lot of people pre-bought all their boats and waited forever.
Those are all big ticket items. I'm talking about something that's like mid-tier. Like you might, but the other thing is they don't have
$300 is still. I mean, you can pre-order at any level. The price point has nothing to do with it. It's the quantity.
Ooh, I disagree. No, I know. He's saying that that's still in the same realm, like a $300 reel is in the same realm.
I mean, you pre-order the game itself, so there's pre-orders I've seen from $15 to $50,000. I don't know.
Yep.
Like
and people do it for
cars
books and stuff too. Yeah. I guess
I'm just curious.
I guess it depends on the point of the pre-order too. Like if you're
Fisherman 83, a pre-sale is better than a back order. Like,
yes.
Think about it. Yes.
Yeah.
Because the company. That's what happens if the company's dumb. But if the companies are able to control it, which there are systems out there that work really well because plenty of people pre-sell at this point, they could handle it, and then it wouldn't shift to a back order. We'd have everybody covered that paid for it, and those that hadn't paid for it, it's not in stock yet.
You're not getting it. Yeah. Yep. And then you've got the other. Okay, so another one I had in here was I think you'll see some more like high customized soft swim baits like the Dark Sleeper and the Gilly. Like I think you'll see.
I think the Gilly like opens that up, right?
What and that was kind of my
by
thought.
By the way, did we call out Jazzy Felish?
No, we didn't. Oh,
welcome to the Burly Bunch Elite. We got a new member. Sorry, we were just diving into pre-orders here. I'm just trying to stir pots. All right, hang on. Anyway, sorry.
I think you're right though. Like when that Gilly won,
full leash.
I was like,
Jazzy full leash.
I was very surprised. Like I did not. I'll be honest, I did not see that coming. Except for the fact that it was really the person who released it, right? The company that released it.
Yeah.
And it continues to get traction. And the Dark Sleeper to me is like such a waste of money because of the price point, but it continues to be something that people are like asking about and buy and swear by. And I'm like, well, I mean, it's a good bait, but like, why does it have to come pre-reg and why does it have to be so expensive? But like, know that Megabass making a ton of money on that bait. It's not that expensive to make. It's just they're selling it for a lot. They're making money on that bait. And it's the same thing with Berkeley. So it's like, I think people will capitalize on that. And I do think you'll see more of them because you can really do a lot with it. And they've been around for a while, but just not at that level. Like I think you'll see more of those like high custom, not available in like on its own, and they'll just be very expensive. Like $8 plus single 2-packs, right? Like more expensive custom soft swim baits.
Yeah, I think it'd be cool to see some more players in the game for that because I do wonder a lot of time like is it worth the hype? And like we did the Dark Sleeper thing and we're like, nah, not for us at least. But then there's a quality difference between that and then I got the Amazon Dark Sleepers. I mean, they're trash. So there's somewhere in the middle. And I know that it works wonders for a ton of people and they swear by it. And then you got like the Gilly, and I think, Ike Nelly has really boosted the crap out of that thing. So I think he has a lot to do with the success of it. Just saying.
I would agree.
But then the Burly Hype Man, underscore aka underscore 22, the year of the hype man. I like it. I dig it. Nice change. Changes his name every single episode. No
All right, I'll
way.
post something. I'll post it right now.
All right. You guys heard him. I was just calling out. Burly Hype Man said, geez, you guys keep it going. Said the price point is a lot lower. What were we talking about here? Oh yeah, just find something similar. The price point is a lot lower. Yeah, I mean.
Oh well, that's one of my baits that I've always loved is exactly that. The Storm pre-rigged shads.
Exactly.
But those are way cheaper. That's why that makes sense to me. I'm like, okay, well, you did the work. It's perfectly rigged. It's a good bait. It comes in a lot of colors. I can get it anywhere. Those are all good reasons to me to buy a bait.
It's free 99.
The Dark Sleeper is the exact opposite. It's super expensive. It's kind of hard to find.
$499 a pack.
And they're like, dude, that's not a recipe for me to buy a bait because one tail getting ripped off and the whole thing is worthless.
I mean, the 10,000 fish headhunter is similar to, and that one's $10. It's like 10,000 fish headhunter, which I wasn't a fan of the hook set on that one, by the way, you guys. The little magnetic hook that like shoots up, it was definitely causing issues for me. That's just my experience with it. But yeah, they're great ideas. I know they're fish catchers. They are just really expensive. I'd love to see some different ideas on the market. So we got like Z-Man drops that was it called the Hercules shads?
Yeah.
Like the pre-rig that they have that comes in like 3 or 4 different sizes. That thing looks sweet. And it's a Laztec, so like it ain't going nowhere.
That makes way more sense. Way more sense.
Tom Alfred, thank you so much for the super chat, my friend. We got a $5 super chat from Tom Alfred. And he says, I fish a lake overflowing with crappie. Awesome. That should be, man. Hopefully we can find somewhere to ice fish with a ton of crappie because that would be a blast. I'd love to have a day like that. Any good baits or lures that might be good for bass that mimic the crappie?
So Fish Lab actually makes a swim bait that is pre-rigged, that is pretty darn big, that actually is exactly a crappie. I think Jeff probably has one on the wall. Yeah. So that would be one. But I would actually say that like there's a lot of tubes out there that do a really nice job of mimicking crappie.
Oop, see that?
There it is.
Something like that. And it comes in a couple different colors. These are not the pre-rigs. These you rig yourself. But you got soft baits like that. They come in pre-rigs as well. And they come in 3 or 4 different sizes. I mean, yeah, you can do that. I have the Savage Gear 4D crappie or whatever. I mean, they do a great job.
I would say the easiest though would be tubes. They do a really nice job of mimicking like dying crappie. Boons actually, depending on the time of year. And there's I think like the Bandit 100 comes in like a black and silver color
That's like
as
your
well.
favorite color.
It's like one of my it's one of my I actually have one up on the wall back there. It's one of my favorites. So there's a lot. It really depends on the time of year. And then Z-Man, the full size TRDs. You can Ned, and they have a couple of like black and silver colors that are all, I think, perfect for mimicking crappie on bottom. So there's actually a lot of ways that you could go. Just sort of depends on the time of year whether you want to be on bottom or whether you want to be wiggling around.
Yeah, and also your water clarity and like where you are in the country and all sorts of other stuff. But there's some ideas, man. And then Corey Mariano, welcome to the Charducers.
Dude, I love this. This is great. It was all that rousing discussion on 90s
tabletop games. Yeah, it was great. All right, so yeah, soft plastic swim baits. That'd be awesome.
I got another one. So last year, I think I called this out, and I actually feel really good about my call. Last year, I was like, it's going to be the year of the swim bait. You'll see people, the amount of people fishing giant swim baits, swim bait custom rods.
It's more than it should be.
Well, you can argue either way, but it was a trend this year. It was a big trend. There were a lot of moves made around big swim baits. You saw Sixth Sense release some custom swim baits. You saw custom swim bait prices definitely go up, and a lot of people talking about them and people getting excited about them. Fish Lab released a heck ton of giant swim baits. So I do think that
we'll be getting this year because I didn't get them last year. Now that we're going to go through the catalog together, and I mean, I guess I can tell you guys because it's 2022 right now. So
Yeah.
Dave won't get mad. But yeah, so we're on the Akuma team this year again. So we'll be getting like a whole big order from them, and Paul's on the team now.
Yeah.
It's not just me alone. So he's gonna get a bunch of gear.
It's official.
Mm-hmm.
You'll get the
Chaz is on the team in spirit, and we will send him some swim baits because we're gonna buy a ton. He'll be fun. He'll be taken care of.
But I think that, so I think this year I kind of did a year of the, fill in the blank. Like, what do you guys think? What do you think it'll be, right? I put my guess, honestly, is Power Shot. I think it's like a year late. There's pros that talk about power shotting a lot. And I feel like when you hear pros talking about a specific technique in a prior year, the next year it like sort of kind of takes off when people see it happening and people see pros winning on it. I think Power Shot could be one. It could just be the year of the crankbait, especially if custom stuff sort of happens. Jeff, I think you were the one who put ultralight on here.
Well, now you got me thinking about something else. I was thinking actually more about like hybrid baits and maybe not this year, it might be next year, but like hybrid baits, so combination like lipless blade baits, like that new Rapala that came out this year. But I was also thinking about like interchangeable or more versatile baits, because we've seen a few just come across our desk that are like combinations. You'll get combination like square bill lipless, just like a different kind of shape to it, or you'll get the interchangeable like colors, which we posted one on Instagram that I mean, is that out? That's out.
You can can go get it right now.
What is it called? The mimic. There's two names for it.
That's right. It's a really redundant name.
The mimic impersonator or something.
Yeah, the mimic impersonator. It's a good idea. I don't know if it's a good idea. It really is.
It's an idea. That was who was that by? That was Lucky Strike, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Jimmy Houston. Yeah. So I mean, that one's interesting, but I've seen more than just one like that, right? So like, what if there's going to be eventually these baits that are more versatile, because it can be like 2 baits or 3 baits in one.
Sure.
Whether it's color or action or just like line tie, how you fish it, I don't know. It could be a thing.
That's a good one.
Combo baits. I was talking like Jabberjaw is a good example. 13 Fishing has the Scamp. Then who are the 6 Senses? The Axis 2.0.
Yep.
No, not is the Axis the swim jig?
The Axis
technically also a combo bait.
No, the Axis.
Axel is the swim jig. Oh my gosh, they're freaking names. They all just bleed together.
Which is really cool. That's a cool bait.
Yeah, but that's what I'm talking. This is what I'm talking about. And then they got the swing head, shaky head jig. Right, that's the newer one. So just I don't know, shaking up. I mean, they're shaking up what swim jigs are, right? Like there's just lots of different things like that. I've also noticed, we were just on Tackle Warehouse before we hopped on here. You get like those funky multi-bladed spinners that are like mini Alabama rigs, and then like something totally different. We get like shutter baits. That was years ago, but like you get these different approaches to these classic baits and techniques. Maybe there's more of that. I'm sure that's probably a continuous thing. Probably get a little bit of that like every year, but it might be cool. Maybe we'll see some stuff. Oh yeah, Army Outdoors is here. What's up, Ralph?
What's up, brother?
Says, thank you for the super chat, man. What's up, guys? Sorry I'm late. We got our first snow of the season in Kentucky, and it is chaos and pandemonium in the bluegrass state. I saw your picture. I imagine that buildings are burning and the people are rioting in the streets for sure. That was like a Tuesday for us here.
I love it. Yeah, we've had. I gotta say this because I'm excited about it. We've been in ice making weather for about 3 days, so we've seen sub 10 degree temperatures for the last 3 days straight. We have had no snow, which is ideal, or minimal snow, which is ideal, so less than 2 inches. And we were coming off of like a warm but not too warm and no rain period for about a week. So we had rain about 2 weeks ago, and then no rain but cool but not cold, and then it just like cold, and it's like 0 at night, 4, 5, 7 degrees at night, and then it's like maybe 20 during the day. and we've had that for 4 days. We're gonna have it for another 5 days. The only problem is, and this really sucks, we're getting super high winds. Like really high winds, like 15, 16 mile per hour winds.
Yeah, it's been
Kinda
crazy.
sustained. So if that would go away, we would probably have some legit ice making weather. That's the only thing holding us back right now.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it gets, I don't think it's supposed to get warm again, but we'll see. But man, I'm excited about that. All right, cool. Anything else that people think is going to be like, what you guys sort of like see a whole bunch of, um a whole bunch of this year fishing wise? I would love to hear about it. I don't know. I think that this one's hard to predict. I think it was a lot easier last year because like there was momentum going into the year, and it was just really obvious to me. Like a lot of people were marketing, big swim baits. They were expensive, which means there's a lot of money to be made in them, and that market was already just sort of waiting to happen. Like super high end, expensive hard bait. Like it's kind of a no brainer, right?
So the other ones,
tungsten. Like the amount of tungsten that came out.
Oh, just tungsten. Yeah, tungsten variations for sure.
Like and I mean, like anything you can imagine, any terminal that you can imagine now comes in tungsten.
Yeah. So I see like more circuit board flat sides. You get more circuit board lips for sure. Umbrella rigs.
Yep. Umbrella rigs is a good one. That was on my list. Umbrella
I had
rigs.
no idea, but we were on Tackle Warehouse and there was like 150,000 umbrella rigs on Tackle Warehouse.
But here's the thing: is they're all all over $25. That puts them in a class of like this could be a trendy thing because there's money to be made. They're a little bit unique, so not everyone can just like go grab one tomorrow. That means that makes it a niche, and so it could definitely be. That's actually a really, really good one.
So
I think a really good one.
Ultralight, I also put down on this because I mean, there's been more bait companies kind of getting into it. We're getting more of that stuff in like your monthly boxes, just kind of showing up. You get companies like MONSTERBASS that'll do a multi-species box in which you're going to get more of those like ultralight plastics. And then it looked like, some companies were innovating on that. We got our guy Scott over at Nico Baits trying to draw in some more of those like the dappy plastics, which are dope as heck.
Oh, cool.
But getting more of those stateside. There's a lot of cool stuff like that. But I'm thinking like gear wise too. Maybe more like ultralight reels, rods.
People were saying BFS.
BFS.
As much as I want BFS to be a thing, I really don't think it can be.
And because you don't. Well, do you not want it to be, or you?
No, I don't care, but I don't think it should be. If it is,
I think it will be.
It's like, but okay.
You fight people saying it's a gimmick until it's not a gimmick. Like people are just gonna keep using BFS and be like, it's cool, it's cool.
But it is a gimmick. It's not a good way to fish.
For now.
If the gear evolved so much that it became what people think it is, you can see that. Like ultra micro guided rods. And I don't mean like small. I mean like almost hilariously small. If the rods have to be way better. If they could make a rod that was like 6'6",
finding a BFS rod that is solid and like what we want it to be is impossible.
I need a 6 foot. It needs to be longer. It just needs to be longer.
If you had that,
that's what I'm saying.
More on board?
If the gear has to get way better. Like someone has to come out with. First of all, the rod is the gap. There's only one good one out there right now, really good one, and it's not even.
It's not amazing.
It's not that great, but it's really expensive. So you need to have someone come out with a really good rod. That I've not heard about anybody doing that, but it's possible.
Somebody needs to close the gap because you're talking. There's like $150 BFS rods that are like solid, but you get into the trout rods for like bass fishing specific. The longer setup, you got like the Shimano Scintillate, which is $50, and then you get into Dobbins, right?
But none of those are even good. None of those are even good.
The Dobbins is decent. That's what.
I guess my point is that none of those can compete with none of those can compete with a spinning reel. I need one that's so good that it can compete with a spinning reel. Like you need to have guides that are so micro that you negate that problem of the line being in the wrong place because your sensitivity's gone down, and the whole thing is that it's super sensitive. Like that's it's the whole thing. So you need to solve that problem, and it's a big problem. And maybe it can be done with like super high-end guides, super customized line. Like those are things that could happen. And then, but even the reels are not that. I mean, I guess that there's only like a handful of reels that I would say could keep up or be like in the same league as that rod that doesn't yet exist or is imaginary. Because the problem I have is that it is inferior.
Yeah.
It's just not as good of a way to fish as a spinning rod. It's just not. And
I wonder if though it's your technique. Like I wonder if like you were decent at this, you had really decent gear, that you wouldn't look at it the same way. Because right now, like we have terrible gear for the BFS. We don't know how to do it very well. We've only done it a few times. It's like, would you really feel the same way?
Even just like the math on it, right? Like the way that there are things that you have to wait for a baitcaster to do that a spinner doesn't have to wait for. There's a reason that anyone who does like finesse fishing 99.9% of the time is using spinning gear. It's more efficient, it's more sensitive, and it because of the fact that the line is below the rod, it's more constantly in contact with the line, and that's the whole game. And so, like I said, if the equipment evolved, like you could do it, but you're like making that square peg fit into a round hole. It could be, but it's just not as good. It's like, why would you? Let me put it this way: like you could make a spinning outfit that you maybe could make a spinning outfit that could fish a lily pad frog, set up as good as a bait caster, but you're making that happen. Like you're inventing something custom just for that specific thing, and it's just not as good. Like 90% of the bait casters that are out there, because they have more torque, because they can cast longer, because the way they're designed, because they're different, they're just going to be better. And that's it's like the reverse is true, right? Like, so for ultralight fishing, you get a more sensitive rod because of the way that the whole configuration is designed. It's more adept at doing that. There's something that could be made good, but just in general, it's just not as good. So like BFS to me is like, again, square peg round hole. It has things that it can do well, but it just isn't as sensitive.
Well, I mean, I'd argue that's how like most of the fishing industry exists right now. Because like according to a lot of people, you could just catch with live bait or a green pumpkin worm. Like we constantly innovate, and like a lot of times at first it's definitely not superior. Hopefully it is most of the time. I mean, if it's an innovation, but you're gonna come up with new concepts that are like, oh, it's decent in theory, and then like it gets improved upon, and all of a sudden you're like, oh, that is sick. Like,
oh no, it could happen. It could happen. But I don't think that it's like on the cusp of happening. Like
I don't think it matters if it like comes full to fruition. Like it's gonna be what happens next year. Like in that year, maybe it gets ramped up a bit.
The only thing that I will give it is that everyone wants it to be a thing. Like everybody wants BFS to be as good as an ultralight spinning rig. Everybody wants that.
Yeah. So if we all want it, it's gonna happen.
That's fair. No, I mean that's what I will give you. I will definitely give you that. But I think
that's all I look for in life is your validation on this podcast. All right, next
we're good.
Oh, did you now? We got a good question. Okay, all right, so Tom Alfred says, do you see more JDM trends impacting 2022? I think so. I think we can get into that. Like everyone talking about the Inu rig, which is that's an example of one of the most ridiculous things I've ever seen. It's like, why is this a thing? It definitely catches fish. It works really well over there, and that's why it came over here. Am I going to take the time to set up an Inu rig more than once a trip? No, I'm not. Because it takes stabbing a straw through a trick worm that's long enough.
Glue.
Yeah, and then gluing each part, cutting it and gluing each part, and then like tying on a little split ring at the bottom, and then it just makes the worm do this thing. I'm like, bruh, I don't want to do that, like at all.
It's still a really cool idea.
Sure, lots of things are great ideas.
But I mean, there's a reason I don't fish a whole ton of stuff. Yeah.
Exactly, because we don't want to deal with that, man. That's a lot of work. But yeah, Burly Hype Man says JDM impacts. It's kind of tough to stack those words. Anyways, every year. Yeah, they do, for sure. And I just found out TW, Tackle Warehouse, has a JDM section.
Yeah.
Never saw it before. I don't know if that's new. You guys tell me when that started, but that's a super cool section. And
JDM,
on that note, we had an idea. I'm just going to call it out here because I know he watches this, but GFon is our local JDM resident expert. I think I'm just going to give him, I'm going to give him a gift card and be like, bro, just go buy us like a big box of this stuff. That'd be sweet.
Yeah. You know what? That does remind me of something though that I've kind of been waiting to hit the US, and it's sort of started to, but I think could get really big. Carp fishing. Carp fishing is like an unbelievable amount of fun. It doesn't require too much money, but it does require specialized gear. And
you guys want to see what's behind my desk at all times now?
Yeah.
Carpe the dia, man. Seize the carp.
Well, it is very much it's like it's like a little bit of a niche, but it has like cool stuff, and catching carp is like really fun. So I think that could be one. I don't know if it'll be this year, but I think at some point it will definitely be a trend. And the reason JDM, it's been a trend overseas. Fly fishing for carp has been a huge thing for overseas for a long time, and they make these like really like actually. Somebody just casual bass guy says BFS for carp fishing. So like
that sounds awesome.
That's actually the only place where BFS
that is awesome.
That is awesome. But like that's the only place that I think a BFS rod would be like preferable and would make sense.
But like I hear what you're saying. But like now that I'm thinking back to our previous topic, now we're backing up to BFS instead of JDM. Yeah. Sorry guys, but when I think about it, you know what was a blast was throwing the 1/8 ounce chatterbait, the little mini chatter from Z-Man on the BFS. Yes, that was like some of the most fun I've ever had. And then like lighter Ned rigs on there. It's now that I think about it, if you're picturing ultralight spinning rig outfit, BFS outfit on the river, spinning wins every time, hands down, forever. In my mind, in my heart. But when I'm talking BFS bank fishing on a pond or a lake, I think it's a blast.
Like, well, it's not really that it's not fun. Like that's why people want it to be a thing, because people like using bait casters and they're fun. But like to me, when you look at like, let's say you take all of your like what I would want out of it, and which is not irrelevant for the question. So I will just say that you guys all make a great point. When you think about like, okay, what's the best rig for the job? What does a BFS rig bring to the table that a spinning rig doesn't?
Longer casting,
and with all of those things
with lighter lures,
and all the things are kind of irrelevant with a lighter lure, because the further that you go, the less sensitivity that you have, which is kind of makes it moot, right?
It depends on why I'm fishing a lighter lure, though. Like it doesn't have to be super sensitive. I mean, like, how sensitive do you need it to be? Like, we don't fish 1/80th ounce setups.
But you have to be able to manage the ultralight, and that's actually why I say the BFS probably does have a place, because for something like carp fishing, if you actually end up catching a fish that like weighs that much, you may actually end up needing to have the horsepower. You may actually need the horsepower of like a BFS. But there's just not a lot of scenarios where you would need it for like ultralight the way we think about it now, even for bass fishing.
The only scenarios I play it for.
Like I've caught a 4-pound 6-ounce smallmouth on my spinning rig, on a 5.6 ultralight. No, and it was not an issue. Now, granted, it wasn't in grass, but still, it's like, you can't. The thing is you can't like. The amount of muscle required is useless. It's like being the strongest guy in a toothpick breaking competition. Like anyone can break a toothpick.
I'm gonna break faster though.
That's what I'm saying. You're gonna break the line faster. Like you don't need horsepower for an ultralight 4-pound, 3-pound.
Whatever. Test. I just wanted to pick on it some more.
I love it. No, it's actually a really good discussion, because like everyone wants it to happen at the end of the day. Like that means it's going to happen at some point. There's no getting around it.
Cool. I think it's fun, and that's why I think it should do well.
It's going to do well.
Yeah, ultralight BFS. I think those were great things to hop off on. JDM definitely influencing the market. What about fly fishing? Good old fly fishing.
I had
what's that doing these days?
My next one, I had Guggen's releasing a line of flies under a different brand.
Oh, it's a sub brand to Guggen, so it won't be like
Guggen
flies.
The only reason I said under a different brand, and I think it's kind of important, is that I don't think that like Guggen has a place in the fly fishing person's mind that's positive right now. I think like 80% of people who fly fish are kind of like no, but devil's advocate, that's a smaller group that they probably don't care about, and maybe they're more about like, maybe I need to get bass fishermen into fly fishing, so I'm going to do it. So I'm going to do it my way. That's easily possible. Easily possible.
That's a gigantic market. So, and they've always played that market, to be real. Like, they're the ones that have been known to catch fishermen and women. 100%. That's what the whole marketing thing is set up to do. I mean, they're just playing the marketing game, man, and they're just winning. Fly fishing would be interesting. That would be interesting to see. Do you think there's any innovations outside of that? I mean, so to address another thing was like Catchco acquired Postfly. So like Postfly
and has started to pay influencers specifically to market fly fishing, like to lay the groundwork to say like, I can talk about fly fishing. I know about it. I do it. I'm cool.
And those boxes, those Postfly Catchco Postfly boxes are now showing up in stores. They're already on shelves.
Yeah.
So that's interesting. And they're starting to, I don't know if they're pushing that through the Carl's Bait and Tackle website. They have them on there.
Oh yeah. Yep.
So
and gear. Well, just gear, like fly fishing gear.
Yeah. So you're going to start to see that they're just like growing their market, branching out into something totally different, which is interesting. Cool. Probably going to drive the industry. That's a good thing.
Well, honestly, it's awesome because I think that people are going to get mad that they're probably going to get mad about the way that they market it, because they'll make it wild, and people like to think about fly fishing as like quietly pursuing trout
it
alone
depends.
in the but that's not
who's posting.
That's not all. But no, people are going to get mad about that. They already are mad about it with bass fishing, and bass fishing has always been like a loud, crazy sport. So I think that like, there's nothing wrong with it. It's great. Getting more people to fly fish is a great thing. If they're doing it differently, fantastic. And if you can't learn from that, you're not doing it right. That's just my opinion.
I mean, I'm just saying, like, lately it seems fly fishing commercials are a bit more adventurous, a bit like the people in it are younger. Like, you're not seeing an old crotchety guy in the sleeve, like, or in the water. Like, you see, I saw what Sims put out a couple of like dudes basically just chugging beer and like falling out of boats. not at the same time, hopefully not because of the other thing, but just like
totally different vibe.
Something totally different.
It's a totally different vibe, and that's what like I've been trying to tell people for a long time, is that fly fishing is just regular fishing. It's just done differently. But in the past you've had to like, to fish that way that you wanted to fly fish, like you had to make all of the old school stuff work for you in a different way. You had to like make your own stuff, like tie your own crazy flies. Like I had to tie my own wacky rig type of fly because it didn't exist, because no one fished like that with fly fishing stuff. So like, but they can make that happen and sell it and then make enough money to where like other people would do it. And all of a sudden I don't have to do it myself. Like someone else out there is making bass flies all the time. And it's a massive market, and there's absolutely no reason it wouldn't work. Now, I will say it is harder and it takes more patience than regular fishing, which is working against it. But there's no reason it couldn't work. None. And there's no reason they can't create a market. They can't redirect a market towards fly fishing that is currently at bass fishing. There's no reason for it to not be able to work at all.
Yeah, and I'm sure there'll be plenty that will definitely be pissed about that, especially like
so mad, and way more mad than
small companies.
Way more
guys, way more mad than the local shops. They're going to be
so mad.
Furious.
They're going to be like, "Why do you want this neon green box? I'm not buying it. Why do you want this? Why do you want these nippers that are black and green? I'm not selling those." And honestly, to those people, I would say, like, it's like with hunting.
Yeah.
If you don't want like young kids who just happen to be younger, of a different generation, don't act the way that you do, if you're mad about them hunting, you're silly. You're silly because you're just asking for the death of what you like.
Yep.
You're just asking for people to not buy a hunting license, to not buy fishing licenses, to not participate, to not bring money and influence in, for you to not have what you want to
Yeah.
have, which is access to public lands, which is people who want to protect hunting and fishing.
Yeah.
So yeah, smally fly fishing. So we have a local fly shop right down the road from me. And they have cornered the market on smallmouth fishing with like young, hip, cool type,
Yeah.
marketing people. And
Mhm.
they are cool people. They are amazing fly fishermen. They catch the heck out of smallmouth. And I think that is the future of fly fishing. I don't even know if it's not a question. It's just who's going to do it best.
Yep.
I mean, when you
Yeah.
have something like Small Jaw Syndicate as like your sort of logo, like you're in,
Yeah.
you're cool, you do awesome stuff, you tie custom flies, you are totally different than like the old guard of trout fly fishing. You
Yeah.
are bass fly fishing.
Yeah, 100%. I would love to see the industry get pushed forward. I'd love to be able to do more fly fishing on this channel. I haven't fly fished in
Been
like
saying it
18
for
months.
years.
24 months. I don't know.
And,
A long time.
it'll crowd. You'll see a lot of young kids crowding out smallmouth holes, and it'll just be different. It'll be totally
That's why
different.
they're going to be pissed.
That's why
Crowding the local water holes, showing up at your favorite fly
loud
shop.
kids who don't give you what you want, which is respect and silence. Like it's just you're an old man. Deal with it. Like I don't know.
Yes, we are.
People are still all over the BFS. I love it. That just proves the point. Like there's
exactly.
I agree. That just proves the point. Like it's going to be a thing, and
Yeah.
whether or not it is the best way to fish doesn't really matter. I guess that was the only point I was trying to make. Is like I don't think it's the best way to fish. It can be a great way to fish. Micro crankbaits is what Jeff and I've always talked about, and he was talking about bladed baits, like or bladed jigs. Like those are that's where it excels.
Yeah, micro cranks need to do better.
I agree.
A lot of the micro cranks are just trash.
Suck. They suck.
All those Guggen ones that came out, the square bills sank.
Not all.
No, my square bills were the problem. The crankbaits, I think, were fine. The lipless, I'm going to use under the ice. I think they'll work.
This is a great idea. Like
square bills were trash.
They weren't what you wanted them. They were not what you thought they were.
Yeah, they were not at all.
But like that, and the BFS rod handled those very well, and it really struggled with lighter jigs, and it really struggled with drifting. Like it was not a good. It's not a good right now. The way the equipment is, not good for drifting. So like they could have their place. And people, and to just like enough people want it to be a thing that it doesn't matter whether or not it's good. Like it's going to be a thing at some point.
Yeah.
And Jeff and I have been asking for we'll say an $85 to $125 rod that is available for that is quality for BFS. We've been asking for that for a year.
And
that's what I've been looking for. I've been more than willing to shell out $130, $135 for a BFS rod to try to use, and that just doesn't exist. You can go get the Sierra, the Dobbins Finesse. You can go get that rod, but you can't because it's not anywhere. You can't go buy one. And Jeff and I have been talking about like why has no one made a $99 solid BFS rod? Why is the Sensolite for $50 the only option for you?
And that's
why isn't there a Defy Silver? Why isn't there a Defy Silver in a bait casting setup?
Because you can just get a Suya Gang on Amazon, and it will be made of paper. So yeah, Chaz has informed me that we're hovering somewhere around 82 to 84 viewers. So if you guys want to help us bump that over 100, we've already given away all our stuff, but I'm sure we can come up with something. Maybe plasma or blood.
I'll cobble something together that doesn't involve my blood.
We got
so any other trends that people have? Because I want to make some moves. I want to switch.
Hit us in the chat with any trends that you guys are noticing.
If there's any other trends.
We hit JDM, BFS. We talked about power shot, crankbaits, hybrid baits are.
I'm getting there. Kayak fishing is my next.
Coming up soon. We got some changes we're making.
I'm not talking about
hair jigs. Small area, that one. I don't think that's that big, but all right. Let's talk kayak stuff. Let's talk kayak stuff.
So
I like kayaks.
Yeah, so I had a whole section for like kayak fishing. So I just had a general list. One thing I said is I think electronics are just going to make like a huge push into kayak fishing. Like,
Yeah. I think there's already some big advancements because it used to be just yak power on the market, but now we have a whole bunch of different power brands and FPVs coming out of Australia with some real crazy stuff that's like rivaling the yak power.
Well, I wasn't even talking. I actually had a whole separate section for electric propulsion. I said like electric motors.
I'm talking wiring. That's just wiring and batteries.
Yeah. So, okay, perfect. So yeah, I think like running wiring kits, the amount of power you can get into a boat, the amount of electronics that are going to be expected to be available in kayaks, whether it's lighting. I think lighting is going to be huge. Charging, I think, will be massive. I think will be like the low key. You won't realize it, but there'll be like a lot of options that didn't exist before for you to charge things on the water. And then I think outlets, like inside the boat, your ability to just like basically put any type of outlet that you want waterproof somewhere on the boat. I think that those will be some of the things that you'll see. And then I think separately, I think you're going to see some big advancements in the quality of the, like Dakota Lithium has done like just an amazing job of providing like a really high end battery that can like push a big old kayak for a long time in current for hours. And I think they're feeding on themselves. The more efficient motors, right? That are getting more customizable, so they fit in. The same motor can fit on a bunch of different boats, and then higher end batteries. They're just gonna feed on each other until you get this like, it's gonna be like, how do you not have a pedal kayak? It'll be like, how do you not have a motor? Like, how do you not have an electric motor? I'm serious.
Still
like
pedaling
this year?
How are you paddling?
That could be this year.
Yeah. No, I've seen a lot of advancements in that. And like I said, like FPV at the beginning of this year, FPV just offered a couple of batteries, and then you would have like Burly Pro would have the batarang that we installed into our kayaks, right? Like, so you've got dual batteries, easy mounting hardware, but now FPV has like a whole new wiring harness kit that's fully customizable. You buy every single section and you lay it out through your boat however you want. And then like Yak Power has had their setup. They've been around for a while. Like, there's going to be some crazy new stuff, and like LEDs and charging ports. I'm with that. Like, I definitely foresee that happening. Yep. And that would be cool, man. Just having a couple USBs on there, full outlet. Like,
imagine just like, oh, my camera. I just not like, oh, would you plug it in the back or the front? Which one do you do? Like, there's so much that can be done. So much.
Bring a George Foreman with us out on the kayak, and we just like grill some stuff up, you know?
Dude, I mean, why not? There's just a ton.
Why not?
Well, here's the other thing. Is like the other thing that I was thinking about was like, how do they not have integrated solar panels for charging? How is that not?
I think you're way out there, because you still have, like, as far as outdoor gear goes, right? Like, solar panels has started to come up in the last 5 years, and there's companies like Goal Zero that are pretty big in that area. But I still think those have like a long way to go, let alone installing on a kayak. I mean, I meant more of being like, okay, like, what's one place on your kayak that you almost never touch where you could mount? Do you have a 2 foot by 2 foot square on your boat where you could mount easily a solar at the stern,
solar
like
cells?
right by the handle, where you'd never ever touch it ever.
No problem. And you could put it there, no problem. And there's always that spot on a boat, even just the covering of your even just behind your seat, and that's totally exposed to sunlight. There's a lot. I just think there's a lot of opportunities.
Solar panel canopy for your kayak. Dude's in the future. Dude's Tesla level.
2027, my guy. You're already there.
You're driving the Tesla 2022 Cube on wheels.
And I'm not saying it's going to happen this year, but that. Well, Shaw's mentioned boat, so that actually leads into my next one, which I think inflatables are like on the cusp of making like huge strides. Like, you saw what boat did with the Luna Aero. Yeah. Just with a couple of design tweaks, not really a ton, but like made it way more accessible.
Put a hole in an inflatable boat and put pedals through it. That's what they just said.
massive change. And that's like one company doing it. Whenever you see like one company do something like that, and like they made these, they just have the most unbelievable technology when it comes to making those like larger motor mounted boats. That to me is like the epitome of like what I would want. Like I live in the burbs, right?
Yeah.
Essentially.
Essentially.
But I like live in the country. I have like this random burb that's like in the middle of like nowhere. But like, so I live in a place where I can't just like throw a boat in my backyard, right?
Yeah.
I could conceivably go buy an inflatable boat that has a 15 horse motor on it
and fits into a duffel bag.
And then I can store in my basement. And just pull out whenever I want, plug it up to an electric motor in my garage, inflate it, shove it in the back of my truck, and it weighs 70 pounds. And it's lighter than my current kayak, and I can just go do whatever I want with it with a motor. That is mind-numbingly cool. And there's only one company that can do it. Once a whole bunch of people see that, which they saw last year
at ICAST,
one season later, and I think you're gonna be. It may not be this year, but it could be this year where you see.
I think it's gonna be another year.
Major. You may very well be right, but they're also affordable. That's the crazy thing. Is like they're not out of reach by any means.
No, they were cheaper than kayaks.
$5,000 for a skiff with a motor. It's insane. It's completely insane. I want one, but yeah, I think that's a big one. For sure for kayak fishing. Another thing somebody already called it out was tourneys. It's on for us. Something is weird. I think we're gonna do a couple. Right. Something is weird with kayak fishing tourneys where like a lot of people are just like not down, and it's so simple to do with the apps. Like there's just like some link that people haven't made with the marketing of it, where there's a lot of things that make so much sense. Like, hey, it's a $5 tourney for you and your buds. You have the app already. Just go have a fun tourney for like fun money or just for bragging rights or whatever. Like, why doesn't this? It seems so simple, but like I don't use it nearly enough, and I don't know most people I know do not use it at all, unless they're already tournament fishing for kayak fishing. But like so many people kayak fish, and so many people like tourneys. Why isn't? I don't know why it hasn't exploded. Like I mean, like exploded where like everybody's doing it from the bank and stuff. Yeah, it's like okay. Why hasn't it like? You know what I mean?
It's at the progressive growth right now. We might hit a hockey stick moment at some point. I don't know.
Do you know why it's not?
Boat.
Yeah, the Intex. You mean the Intex boat has to come with a drowning clause that you have to sign because you know it's going to deflate.
And it takes you a casual 3 hours to pump with a foot pump. That really squeaky one that all of your dads had.
The one that broke all your friends' backs. They're brutal.
Those are the easier ones. I'm talking about the foot pump.
Oh, I'm talking about the one you slept on that is awful. What do you think about like why do you think that like those online tourneys aren't like everyone's go-to? Like everyone doesn't have an app that is like Fish Brain that has the tournament piece included. Like why doesn't Angler app have just fun tourneys that you just do with random people that you meet within the app?
Yeah, instead of the random catches challenge.
It makes no sense at all. Just do a tourney, a fun tourney. It doesn't have to be for money. Just like, hey, you won a badge. You did a tournament with your okay. I liken this to fantasy football. Football, FanDuel, DraftKings. Like I can just like challenge you to a fun, just for fun. It could be for 50 cents or $1. Like I can just challenge you to a tournament, Jeff. And like you have the app, I have the app. We pick the slate of games. We pick our players and we play. And it's against nobody else. It's just you and me. We like watching football together. We're gonna eat pizza, drink beer, and we're gonna razz each other about how you can't pick a quarterback. Like that's the whole thing. How is that different than you and me?
Scoring is out of your hands in those scenarios. It's just what happens in the game. What happens in the game.
Well, my point is like you and I.
Validation of the scoring in the fishing tournament is it's the logistics. That's a lot of logistics.
Let me put you this way. So you're like in that scenario, even though the scoring's out of your hands, it's not out of your hands because you pick the players. So it's your ability to pick the players that's like you doing the thing, and then you just see how things play out. Now you're making a bet. That's all that is. Now the fishing is equivalent because like you and I like to fish, right? We fish together all the time. So
Yeah.
we're going to go out on the water anyways. We're going to go fishing. Why wouldn't we be like, oh, let's do like a tournament? Like I'll take a picture and measure my fish. You do yours. We'll see who does better. And maybe it's a 3 fish limit or even just biggest bass or whatever. Why don't they have that?
Because you have to have them take the picture with the card, prove that the fish is
Yeah.
at actual length, make
Yeah.
sure they close the mouth of the fish. There's a lot more that goes into it. With fantasy football, you just go like, there's the scores. That's what happened. Somebody
So-
has
the same
to
way that-
somebody has to be the judge.
Yeah, I know.
So here's the funny thing. This has been a thing in competitive like Call of Duty since like 2008. It's called game battles.
Yeah.
It used to be hosted by MLG, where like you would just sign up for like a random tournament or like a 1v, like a team versus team 1v1
Yeah.
and that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And
Yep.
that's how it would be. Is like you would have to submit proof that you won.
Right. So that's what I'm saying is like the rules, maybe the companies don't want to deal with it. The rules have to be regulated really well. Somebody has to be the judge of that.
Oh, you're saying that
somebody in
like an independent.
operations.
You're saying like in that small scenario, like somebody else has to like be the judge or whatever, and like
It's a lot of
validate
work.
what
I
you put
mean,
in.
We talked to Mike
I'm assuming.
Kaczkowski
I guess
with
I'm
Tonyx.
I'm assuming that's not part of it. Like I'm assuming that like if it's
There's no way for that not to be part of it.
No,
Because then
good
it's
point.
like it's just on your
Good
own. So
point.
why would they have it on their app? They'd be like, just do a tourney with your friend. Then
oh
Like,
because
that's
it's
not my
traffic.
problem.
That's absolutely traffic. The
They
more
get their
people you have in
traffic.
there,
That's why MLG blew up. Was because
what-
of game battles. That's
if you
how-
just
I mean,
had if you just have traffic,
I
I'm-
don't
that's
think
literally
these
everything.
things equate, but
No,
like,
they act like when it comes to competitive Call of Duty
Mhm,
and competitive fishing in that sense,
mhm.
it entirely does equate because that's exactly what competitive Call of Duty on console started out as was you just
Small,
challenge
individual.
someone
Yeah.
Mhm.
and most of the time it would be like, okay, I declared that like they battled, like they've played 1v1 or whatever, and you report the results. You didn't have to include a picture. But let's say I said I won, even though you won,
Yeah.
someone else can dispute it.
So you need community guidelines. Like it's still there's a lot of logistics that go into this.
But
That's
it's-
exactly what I'm saying.
Yeah, but it's actually not
agree.
that hard. You get a picture.
It's not
No,
that
but I-
hard to you, Charles.
Well, you know, Jeff, I agree with what you're saying. Like, if an independent judge is needed for like all of that, like, yeah, it's 100% trash. Like, it does not work. But
Yep.
I'm assuming.
But that's how it was.
Hold on.
how-
So I guess what I'm saying is, if let's assume that you could have like a digital judge, like all the things in the picture didn't need to be done by a person, right? The app is
Yeah.
essentially acting as the judge, and they're like the technology is
Powered
good
by
enough where
Skynet, it's gonna take over the world. I
exactly,
got
it's
you.
just gonna eat
Yeah,
my
okay.
kids.
Got it.
But like, you know, assuming that they could be like, oh, I could tell that you somehow did something wrong with the photo, like that one's invalid, and it was 80% accurate, even 90% accurate. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, like among friends, like doing like a weekend fishing challenge, like that's essentially what we do all the time. And
Yeah.
assuming that you could get that, like, I don't know why I would want basically every social media, like fishing media app that you have on your phone should have that functionality, because to me it's a no-brainer. Like an
Yeah.
absolute no-brainer. Even in the
I just-
same
I just-
boat, you guys could be doing it.
One, I don't know if they need it because they're doing really well for other reasons. But
Mm.
two, I just think the logistics aren't in a place where it makes sense for an app company to like have that extra expense for essentially no reason.
Well, it's either way, it doesn't matter.
All right, Chaz, build it
doesn't
for
matter.
Angler. We'll put you in touch. How about that?
So the next anything else for kayak fishing, let us know. Would definitely like to know what other people think. Like,
Yeah.
I did think about really hard. I was like, man, you know what doesn't get like enough hype, but really should, is like canoes. Like really like high quality canoes. Like
Didn't Ethan pick one up this year? You got the
Yeah.
Old Town.
So the
canoe,
old
it's like a
the Old
hybrid
Town,
kinda.
they make a 10.6 Old Town Discovery, I think it is. Like that is such a cool boat, and like people just like don't gravitate towards them because they're not like, I'm using air quotes so you guys can't see them, but they're cool, right? And I just feel like a couple of tweaks on a canoe like that, like a one or 1.5 person size canoe, and
Sure.
they legit do a lot of things that you want these like sit on top kayaks to do. They just do
Mhm.
it naturally, and they do it very lightweight, and they last an eternity. They can hold a crap ton of stuff, and they're very they could do a lot of different things. They're very versatile. You could duck on out of it. You could like bring a dog in it. You can bring your kids in it way easier than you can a a pedal kayak. And all you got to do is put one of these Bixby's on the back, and that thing is boom. It's everything that you want. So, but I don't think it's going to happen this year. But I was thinking about it. I wanted it to be a thing.
Yeah, interesting. Lots of boat stuff going on. What is this you got down about gear here,
dude? So one thing I started to notice that I just think like is definitely has been trending for a while with gear is like the use of magnets to like I'm thinking like flap enclosures on your coat, right?
Oh, I was like, what are you talking about magnets, man?
Yeah, so like magnet flap enclosures. They're on a lot of like they're not on enough backpacks yet. I don't know why. Using magnets to like make utility spots for you to like drop your gear and not feel like you're gonna lose it. You know, like those custom pads, those like C-deck pads.
Yep.
Imagine a magnetic C-deck pad.
Well, so, boat has essentially that installed on the
Magnapods.
Yeah, those things.
But it's not C-deck. Like you can't like put things on it. I'm talking about like you can like hook your hooks into it or whatever because those aren't magnetized. But then you also have like the middle of it, like you could just drop your pliers and all your other crap that is magnetized, and you've got like this amazing workspace, like a super cool workspace, like that could be on the hood of your kayak or whatever. Like there's, I don't know, that to me would be really cool. And someone just brought up this is what kickstarted it was Plano has magnets on top of their new KVD and their Z series bags and stuff. So I'm like, dude,
the drop zone they call it.
It's genius.
Also, those bags are hella expensive, but
they're super expensive. But I mean, legitimately, like I think that will be something that you start to see used more and more. And I think you already are. But I think like could be as long as it gets more used, that could become more of like a mainstay versus like a premium feature.
Yep. Yeah, that's interesting. I'd love to see more of that. I'd love to see aftermarket accessories you could add to your kayak that would involve that.
That's what the C-deck idea for me was. Like, imagine just like having 4 different sizes of like C-deck rectangles and that you could just like glue onto your kayak, and now you have like a workspace wherever you want it that does like 2 different things.
And then we could put more hooks by our bare feet so people would freak out about it on YouTube.
Yeah. But I mean, those you can put those on the side of a cooler. That's what a lot of people do. Is they put them vertical so that you're hanging your hooks on them. But imagine if it was magnetic and you just slap your pliers.
That's what I mean, to the side of the Hobie on the inside up front.
Sure, yeah, that'd be awesome. That whole front space that's totally useless. Yeah, it'd be sweet. I love it. You could
put a pad up by like where you throw all your stuff, anyways.
Exactly. That's what I was gonna do with C-deck, anyways. But imagine if it was magnetic. I'm like, dude, that's like now it's a huge win. I just think there's a billion places where it could be useful, right? Like you see it with like I think backpacks is a pretty obvious one. People are using them for coats, I think, quite a bit already. There's just a lot of room for improvement. I mean, honestly, you could make if you could put even just a strip of that on top of like your Plano Edge. Your Plano Edge now maybe does a lot more for you than it was before. Especially if you're a bank angler, like dropping your whatever in the reeds, if that's like your only bait storage option, all of a sudden like now it's doing 2 or 3 things for you. So I think there's room there.
I dig it.
I didn't have anything else for gear though. That's all I had.
Yeah, I mean, I think we hit a lot of good stuff there, and then you're talking like what's going to change in social media, and I think we can like maybe roll into a giveaway off of this. What do you guys think?
I think so too. Yeah, I like it.
So I said the G word. Let's do this thing, y'all. All you guys got to do is you got to say chat or anything. Literally just type in the chat window and you'll be entered to win. And then we're going to draw a random chatter after we're done talking about social media changes here in a little bit. And that person will win a $25 gift card to monsterbass.com. And then Chaz should have his info up on the screen. So you will contact Chaz, send him a screenshot of your profile from YouTube so he can confirm that you're a real person and you are who you say you are. And then you can win and I'll get you a gift card. I like to say it. Hush, Chaz. Just kidding. Thank you, Chaz. All right. Burly, do a backflip.
Yeah.
Your name is I Don't Stunt. You can't tell me to do a backflip because you literally just said you don't stunt.
That's what I
Come
was
at me
gonna
when you
say.
change your name.
Yeah. I stunt. 30 seconds later.
I stunt. You do a backflip then. Let's do it. All right. So social media changes. I'm on board with some of this for sure, and maybe we can
Do you
riff
want to go?
on
Do you
some
want
of
to
it
do this
too.
one?
Yeah, so I'm in agreement. I think the short form videos stuff is going to grow, all thanks to a child's app called TikTok.
My first one said that shorts will continue to grow, but then I have like to a point because I think that it's been easy. Like so, TikToks, right? People are you're able to post TikToks on almost any social media format now. And like YouTube has
YouTube
one,
Shorts, Instagram Reels. Yep.
Right? So they basically stole TikTok and just applied it to their app. Now you can tell though, like, well, no, they changed mine.
Semantics.
It's not the same. But they, the idea is like they have such a big user following that like I do feel like an app is so like universally like kind of cornered the market on short video. People are not creating TikTok content in Instagram or in YouTube. They're creating all of that content in TikTok, and then it's migrating over.
Yeah.
And unless that changes for whatever reason, which it has no reason to, TikTok is still king. So I think that stuff will continue to grow, but I think there's like a limit, and we're pretty close to it. Like we just haven't seen companies move in and find a place. If companies come in and find a place to do TikTok, which I've already started to see on Instagram a lot more of, as they start to like say, oh, TikTok's a safe space for me to play, I found how I'm gonna have my identity, my TikTok identity, like I have my Instagram and my Twitter. It'll explode, but then it still has a ceiling, like that's kind of identified, I think.
So I disagree, and I think it's going to keep growing. I think it could be like a hockey stick moment. Okay. And I think that just because of what you just said, that the companies are moving in and they're going to continue to move in for sure. And like,
I agree with that.
TikTok is only improving its ability to monetize, and YouTube hasn't even monetized shorts yet, but they're going to this year.
So I have that later on.
There's going to be a lot more money flowing through YouTube Shorts, and I would imagine that means within the app it's going to improve as well, because right now it sucks. Like,
it is horrific.
Video.
The difference between
I'm in shorts now.
The difference between TikTok, like creating in TikTok and creating in YouTube Shorts, is like playing like the newest, like I don't know what's like the newest game right now. I don't even know.
It's like Zelda Breath of the Wild versus Zelda on the Super
Ocarina of Time. It's not even close.
It's worse than that, actually.
It's so bad. It is. It's so bad. Whatever.
Don't even.
Okay. No,
stop. Just stop it.
No, it's like playing GTA. It's like playing GTA 5 on PlayStation 4, and then but then having to drop down and get a PS1 and play GTA 1. Like that's the difference. Like YouTube Shorts is GTA. Like it's
we get it. Concept.
It's horrific.
Understood.
But yeah. So I agree with what you're saying. I guess I meant like even after like the companies come in, because they will. You'll have I agree with you. There's an explosion waiting to happen.
Yep.
The way that it is today, though, there's still like a limit on it, because like Instagram's created like the ceiling, and Facebook has even created a ceiling, and I don't think it's going to go past that. The reason I say that is because I actually think like once people have like sort of already got into this mindset of like short form content, shorter form content, I actually think people start to migrate back to like longer form content, and like I think like blogs will actually grow like in the next 2 years. I think you'll start to see people like, dude, like this is so annoying. I don't really like this. Like I need more depth. So that's what I think.
I like it. Interesting topic. Let's wrap on this one though. Will GoPro heroes die?
Yes. I said yes.
I think it's really interesting because this year you got like the Go Fish cam. You got that new. Is that the circular cam? Is Go Fish the underwater one? That's what I'm thinking. TAC cam, thank you. So yeah, Go Fish is underwater. So you got you got underwater cameras. Gives you a whole different like perspective than you could ever get. So yeah, well, Aquaviews, but I'm also talking like Go Fish is the one on your line, so you can see the actual strike. All those super sick pike videos. So yeah, you got TAC cam. You've got other companies I'm sure are going to be dropping more. I think Sony has one. There's
they do
all sorts of them out there. So
it's not that I think
the action cam market changing a little bit.
I think the
It's gonna be
heroes.
tough, though.
I think the hero series will go away. I don't think you'll see like a Hero 15 come out
Mhm.
like we did this year. We saw 4 different like versions of the GoPro Hero come out. I think
Mhm.
they'll actually completely come out with a new camera, a totally different camera that will
That'd
take
be
over
interesting.
will take over what the Hero series did. Like I think they're kind of like coming to the end of
Yeah.
what the GoPro Hero is.
I think that I mean, you guys can just go back to 2013 on YouTube and watch any of the fishing content. Just watch like some of the original fishing creators on YouTube. It's very interesting to see the progression of the cinematography. Like the cameras get better. They add aftermarket production. They're doing better editing. They're adding music. Like it's really interesting to see where that has started and where it's come to. And I'm sure there's going to be, for sure, some new innovations this year. So that'd be interesting.
Mhm.
But I've got like the Hero 10 just dropped, right? So like
Yep.
they do another Hero 11. Likely it'll be
Oh, yeah.
before Black Friday. So it'll be sometime in the fall. I don't know.
Yep.
I don't
But
know.
I think you could see I think you'll see that like this year be like sort of the end of like the tradition. This was a bold prediction. I think like you'll see the end of basically the series of hero cameras as you know them. All
Yeah.
these media mods, they're like modding everything to work. So like now you have to buy all these add-ons. That tells me that they're
It's
like
gonna
kind
be
of
a thing.
well, they're kind of done with like the hero camera. They're not changing the hero camera. They're making
Yeah.
changes to the like slight tweaks to the technology so it like keeps up with like the latest and greatest like capabilities, like a camera in that shape.
Yeah.
I think like the little cube shaped camera is like going to change and it won't be the hero anymore. It'll be like the H pod or whatever the heck name they'll come up with, right?
I disagree. I think it's gonna make it to 15. I
Really?
think the 15th one will be the new one.
Okay. I like it.
Prediction down.
I like
Everybody
it.
remember this in chat 5
I
to
like
6
it.
years from now.
This is good.
You're gonna call me out.
I like it.
And I only say that just because other action cameras have been made and died. They're gone.
Sure.
There are some sticking around. The cream is rising to the top. We'll see. But with the GoPro Hero, like with GoPro in general, the Hero itself has continued, but they came out with the Max. They had the little cube one.
Cube thing.
They had a whole bunch of different ones, and they're dead. They're gone. They're not coming back.
Yep.
So the Hero is the one that's persevered. So they are experimenting. They're trying different things, but they've also hit the wall on quite a few things. So it's like I think they're very cautious about it, and it's going to take a long time. Like technology takes forever, so it could be 5-6 years.
Could be. Or maybe we're on year 4. You just don't know it.
That's very true.
Yeah.
I made my prediction. You made yours. We'll see. And whoever's right doesn't die. All right, so let's go to the giveaway. Let's do this thing. Chaz, you want to roll it? I appreciate that.
Oh,
Michael Romero.
big night for Michael.
There we go. What's up, dude? Wherever you are, Michael Romero, say hi in chat so that I know you exist and you're real. And then follow the instructions on the screen. We try to make it easy. And then I just have to ship you out a gift card. It's in a very large box. It's like it comes in like a box that might carry a bicycle, but it's a gift card and that's it. So I need your address. It's just
Accent.
It's just Max.
I have a TikTok
all over a gift card.
I have a TikTok coming out about Maxent.
Well, good.
Is that the one
Waiting.
Is that the one I should do for tomorrow?
Yeah, let's do it. All right, Michael Romero. Yeah, you gotta show up, bud. You gotta let us know you're here so we can take care of you.
Burly's ready to boot you.
Burly is already.
Oh, there he is.
He said yes. Right on. Yes. Okay. So, Michael, confirm for us that you are following the instructions, and then I'll get you a gift card. All right. So 2022. Did we predict it really well?
Wait, Michael, tell me once you send me the email as well, so I.
That's what I said, didn't I? Tell us in chat.
You said to follow the instructions, and that's it.
Yeah, and then tell us in chat that you did. Tell us you did your job. Do it, Michael. All right. I'd say 2022, we predicted perfectly. So you guys can take this to the bank. Everything we said is exactly what's going to happen.
Oh, man.
All right. I think this was fun. We got into a lot of topics. It was a little different than our normal show, and we just like fought with each other the whole time. I like that. I think we should do it more.
I like that a lot. Jeff
I
and I
think we
fight
should
to the
argue all the
death
time.
like weekly, so I think this
Like
is good.
constantly. Absolutely. You know how many tabletops have been dealt between the two of these
Not
people
enough.
here? No, not enough. Should be more.
Let's just put it this way: if you've developed your own defense for tabletopping, then
Yeah, where you sweep your feet back like a fighting chicken.
it works incredibly well. I have yet to be tabletopped since developing that technique, and yeah, I'm taking ownership of that.
100%. Also, Burly Hype Man, yes, members, my members, love you guys. You guys are great. Also, maybe Paul's members. Next week we are gonna do find Chaz's members, whatever. Like he has the password or something. He can just like take over. You guys just wait. He's gonna get so sick of us in 50 more episodes. P.S. We're almost at episode 100, so we got to talk about that. But yeah, members only chat is going to be on January 11th at 8 p.m. as a Tuesday. Same time, same place. Be here, be square. G-Fon knows. G-Fon's in. He's got it. I'm Chaz's member. All right, fine. That's okay. Chaz's crew will be a new membership level. It will be $499 a month directly to Chaz, paid in the form of Bud Lights, and that's it. That's it. We don't accept cash. That's not going his way, just so you guys know. All right. Anyway, so we'll be back. Members only live next week, Tuesday. If you guys think of anybody you'd like to have on the show, go ahead and send us a DM. If you guys enjoyed the content, by golly, you better subscribe. Also, maybe smash that like button. Should we cage match? What do you want to do for that notification bell? RKO out of nowhere. That notification bell, my friends, please do. And if you're listening anywhere there's audio, drop us a 5-star review. Maybe leave a little comment behind it. That'd be great too. We'll be back next Thursday.
And invite your friends. We almost did 100.
Your friends.
Today was almost a day.
Yeah, we almost made it to 100. We actually did on the Autism Anglers Live, but that wasn't the same because we did 20 giveaways.
600 giveaways.
So, yeah, I think we covered ourselves there. But yeah, next episode, if we get to 100, bring your friends. We'll have another giveaway on top of that $25 gift card to Monster Bass. Thank you guys so much for listening. You're awesome. We love you. We'll see you next Thursday, Tuesday for members. Chaz, take us out of here. Okay, bye.
Took a swing at a wrecking ball and I prayed for my downfall and I found a way to reconcile, 'cause in my heart it's not worthwhile. It's a bloody battlefield where some go down, others heal. In the end it's all the same. All you can do is play the game. Oh, do we say goodbye? Refuse to question why. I'm sad to say I'm sorry, so lie. Pretend that you're okay. Swear that you will stay. Keep trying for one day. I'm sick of all these lies. Don't care if I capsize. There's nothing left for me to hide. Don't wanna live a lie. Too many lows, too many highs. Too many things to criticize. And so I leave it all behind. Don't wanna live a lie. Life kept spitting at my feet and forced me down a dead-end street when all I had went up in flames, burning only dark remains. I cover up every part of my skin, oh, 'cause I don't like the person within, oh. I know I'm the one to blame. All I can do is take the shame, oh. Do we say goodbye? Refuse to question why. I'm too sad to say I'm sorry, so lie and pretend that you're okay. Swear
Keep trying for one day.